perfectly shaped, well-defined eye and how nasty that storm is. Way over here, that blob on the edge of your screen, that's Tropical Storm Jose. Jose's going to be a fish storm, we think.
Hey, welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel where I talk about all kinds of cool edible things, tropical landscaping, and in this episode we have a Category 5 hurricane bearing down on us. The reason why it's a Category 5 is because basically there is nothing stronger than a Category 5. It's currently at 185 mile-an-hour winds and bearing down on our location. We are in Central Florida, on the east coast of Florida, and you know, we don't know where it's going to go. There's no way to know. But every time a hurricane comes around, this one would be probably the worst example I can think of. Every time that we have a hurricane coming on, sure, we have to think about what do we have to do to get our house ready. What are some common hurricane preparation tips that you can take, that I'm going to take, that help you just kind of deal with it. Now, we did some things when Hurricane Matthew came through last year that already prepared us, so we don't have a lot to do. But the first thing you want to do, that I always like to do, is look around your yard to see if there are things laying around. So let's go look over here to see what's happening on the deck. Okay, so the first thing are things like this chair and the table. So all this stuff is going to have to come inside and be in the garage. And if you look at things like this, these kayaks, well, I'll tie those down to the palm tree too. I probably won't put them in the garage. I'll tie them down. I might tie them to this tree over here. You know, things like hoses I'll leave. Now, here's something that's problematic that we dealt with last time, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, which is to simply tie things down. They can start coming loose. Like you can imagine in 100 mile-an-hour winds, what these things might do, and nothing good. So all this bamboo. Now this is the time when you regret having kept things like this around. Certainly, had plenty of opportunities to get rid of it. I haven't, so now I have to deal with it. But I'll just lash it all around so it's one continuous piece, so it can't separate in pieces if the wind. Now this fence, you know, it's not much different than this. So if you have 180 mile-an-hour winds, you know, it's catastrophic. It doesn't matter what you lash down, it's all going. So we're not really preparing for that, but we're preparing for the more likely event, which is that you get a glancing blow or you get some heavy winds for a sustained period of time. You do just want to make sure things don't knock around. All right, but another thing is to look along your roof line. Now, Julia, if you can get an angle right along here, kind of looking up. Look this way. Okay, you see up along this roof line? Most everything is clear. Now, you look at these branches, and the wind, it's going to go all the way over. These branches are going to flex and they're going to hit. So, really, one thing I'm going to want to do for this tree is to trim it back just a little bit. Take off some of these. I would have probably wanted to take off some of those anyway. In a way, I kind of hate to do it, but you know, the thing I always think of is, what do I hate to do more? You know, and what I hate more than cutting off some mango branches right now is having the mango branches relentlessly beat the side of my house all night long. And now you can see if this thing's going over, it's going to mostly miss. You know, what does hit might be a small tree. I always give it that swing test. This one's really not in a great spot anyhow. So I think I'll just take it out. When you're trimming mango leaves, you like to take out a little more wood. You know, this one's sticking out, adding some weight to the tree. It's not really in the place I want it, so trim it. I try not to nub it. Try to trim it as close to the edge as possible. Now, keep in mind, every time you trim a branch, that's one more loose thing you have to do. So it's one thing to trim your trees and get them so that it's reasonable. It's another thing to go through a massive tree trimming exercise to the point where you have so much extra yard waste and now you've created a pile of debris. I have a place under a tree fort back in the back of this my yard where I tie it all down and it kind of stays put. Okay, let's keep looking along this roof line. All right, so here's another one. I don't want to go crazy. I really don't want to go crazy. Just want to get it kind of generally away from the edge. You have to be careful. This is a lemon tree. So what I've done is I trimmed this mango tree, trim the starfruit tree. Now I'm going to hit this lemon tree. You have to be a little bit careful. You notice I'm wearing the gloves. Come on in. And the reason I'm wearing the gloves is because I don't want to get hit by these branches, and these particular branches. Oh look, there's a lemon. Now, if we get some wind, that's going to get wind picked. By that I mean it's going to come to the ground. We'll pick that up later. It'll actually ripen on the counter. Oh, this is deadly. Look at this. Let me show you something. Look at those thorns. Can you see those thorns? Oh man, don't touch it. That's brutal. Look at that. This falls right down. That would have definitely not been good if I had left it there. Amazing how fast this stuff grows. Now, I'm never afraid to trim the heck out of the lemon tree. The reason is, I know that lemon tree is going to come right on back. So, I'm not really too concerned at all with trimming it. I think it actually helps it kind of bush up, but no need to leave gigantic branches. So this one's taking a kind of a severe trimming. But that should probably be about good enough. Okay, good. So now, go ahead back up and see what you got here. Now, this whole area is free and clear. Look along the roof line. And looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and head around the front of the house and see what we can do. Okay, now this is an Areca palm on the side of my house. Now, I've done a pretty good job keeping that clear of the house. I've only let the palm trees grow that are leaning away. There's a little bit of some fronds up top that would maybe hit the house a bit, but nothing that's going to damage the house too bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. Potted plants like this, it's another interesting thing. I'll just take them and I'll just lay them down. The key is you just keep them, lay them down, not here, I'll lay them down in a corner. But you know, you want to give it the best chance for it not to snap off. If you leave this out and the wind is just going to break over and you'll lose it. All right, let's go this way. Now, brutal winds will take plants like this, which are very brittle, and just going to snap it right off. So there's really no need to trim it. This is going to get what I call hurricane trimmed. Hurricane's going to do the work for me. It'll snap it off. It'll rip all these leaves off. They come off very easily. But you know what? They're going to come off anyway, so we don't really care too much about that. Okay, these, we'll put these inside the garage so that they don't get knocked around. All right, now, look along here.
Oh, Jesus.
See that? We've got some issues. Now, one thing is, before we talk about the roof line, we got to deal with that. You can see there's some stuff growing too close, but this tree right here, this oak tree, laurel oak tree, has gotten gigantic. And I don't know if you can look at the base of that tree, it's leaning off. Now, what that means is, this, yeah, that's an oak tree, but what it means is that if enough winds come, east winds, chances are it's going to push that thing right over. Now, that's an issue. And before you plant a laurel oak tree, you want to make sure you realize that that root pan extends out about as far as the edge of those leaves do, which means that when it goes over, that root pan shallow is just going to lift up. If it's under your house, it'll lift your house up like nothing. So, fortunately, it's planted far enough away, but if I came out after a major hurricane and saw this thing laying down in the street, well, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I wouldn't really care. I would just consider that the way it is. I call that a hurricane trimming or hurricane riddance. When I went to California, I saw palm trees that were like 100 feet tall. You would not get a palm tree that was 100 feet tall here in any circumstance. Okay, so anyway, this tree may or may not come down. All I really need to do is make sure that it's not going to whip the house too much. I'll have to get up on the roof to get some of these overhangers, and I'll take care of that later. But I want you to look over here. This palm tree actually fell over. Okay, so this palm tree, the top, it actually rotted. The top kind of tipped over. And I haven't been wanting to deal with it just because you know, it's going to fall down. It's kind of dangerous. And I knew there's a chance the wind would just knock it down and it would fall in the night. So I'm just going to let that fall down. We'll see what that does after the hurricane. But this also gives you a better vantage of just how massive this oak tree is. Really needs to be trimmed. I was waiting until this winter, but the hurricane might do it for me. Wouldn't be surprised. Hurricanes love to eat up oak trees. All right, let's go up front here and let's see what we can do in the front of the house. My wind chimes. Gonna have to bring those in too, of course. A lot of little things like that. Now this cactus is prone to just be annihilated. Every time that a storm comes through, it really gets reduced. Just gonna go ahead and do one trim. There. That'll be good. And I don't think I'm going to do much of a trim on this, but it just doesn't, it's pretty rigid and I don't think it's going to bang much on there. It'll probably knock down a lot of the leaves, but that's about it. Outside of that, not a whole lot to do. You can see on the front of my house I've got storm shutters, which most people in my neighborhood have, which get a track system here, and I put up metal panels that slide into these things. So we'll have to spend a few hours putting up all our storm panels, and we're actually going to buy some sandbags, right, Jack?
Yeah.
You help us fill up the sandbags?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do, and we'll stack sandbags in front of our door in case we get high water. We're on a barrier island here. I've never seen a flood here before, but if we had major winds, anything's possible. The dunes could be overtopped and it would be bad. So we'll prepare that way too. Prepare for the worst case scenario. And we'll make a call as if we're going to evacuate or not. So anyway, if you're watching this video, I hope you found it useful in some way. These are just some of the basic skills I've acquired over the years preparing for hurricanes. I've been through a lot of them over the 25 years that I've lived along the coast in Florida. And it's always kind of scary, but kind of exciting. And one of the most interesting things that I can tell you about living through many hurricanes is it forces you to look around your house and think, what is truly important to me? What can I not live without? What am I going to take with me if I have to fit everything I care about in a car? And it's pretty easy what you care about. You care about little Jack and Julia and Jonathan, Jessica and Mom. You care about the people you love. The things that you love, you really figure every one of those is totally replaceable. So to me, it teaches you that what really has value in life you cannot buy, right? And that's a beautiful thing. So enjoy what the hurricane has to offer you. Sure, it's scary. We try to be as brave as possible because all bravery is simply not getting scared for a little longer than the next guy. Just don't let the fear make you act. Make your decisions based on logic, and then you're rocking in any obstacle you encounter in life. So hey, if you like these videos or Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel, then go ahead and subscribe because you will be notified when new videos come out. And don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you like the video, and I hope to see you back. Thanks for watching.